Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Flicking the mini roach right now. I pulled it out the other day. I actually carried it for a day. I think it was like 2 days. Right now I got the nefarious back in the pocket, but man, this thing is such an awesome knife. I'm thinking about reaching out to KIZER and asking them to do a premium version of this, because I know they had the premium large version, but this is like way better than the original. And the original I loved, but I'm just saying this thing is, especially if they did it with the removable flipper tab, damn, with that deep hollow grind, this thing is nasty. It's such a good knife. And this thing has one of the best detents. Like, it's so snappy. So what was I wrong about? So if you guys, a lot of you guys called it out. I took, you could say, the word of the company. I did look into the site, and the site, you know, all the words on the site made it seem like, you know, what they were saying. But the knife video that I did the other day on the, what I thought was a Japanese made knife, you guys called it out and said that does not look like Japanese, that looks like Chinese. And you guys were right, absolutely right. And it's messed up because, you know, I took the video down. So all that work is gone, but, and I'm not even upset at that, because I just don't want the lie out there and have people buy it believing that. And I hope nobody bought it. And so I reached back out to the company, and I kind of got upset, you know, and they tried to get me to leave it up. I said, I'm not leaving that up. You're out of your fucking mind. So, I said, now if I do another video, it's going to be bad. Like, there's no way around it. You know, anything I say from here on out, it's not going to be good. So we'll see if I do another video. I might do another video, but if I do another video, I mean, I'm just going to obviously say the truth, because I felt like when they contacted me and asked me to check it out, man, they really made it seem like it was made in Japan. I went back in some of the messages, and it seemed like that too. You know, that's where I got it from. Looked at their site. Maybe somewhere on their site it says it. I don't know. But from the most of the information I seen, it seemed like, you know, it was Japan. So I just, you know, took it in. That is the problem with taking the word of the company, right? And once I asked them directly, though, they did wind up telling me the truth. But I did have, you know, I did say it like flat, you know, like, tell me exactly where this thing is made. Because, you know, beating around the bush, you know, there's a lot of that, you know, about oh, the designers from here and the parts come from here and all that stuff. Supposedly the stuff comes from Japan. The maker and designer or whatever's from Japan. So whatever. I fucked up, so I took it down. It's gone, and if it does go back up, it's going to be a completely different video of me correcting any information I did give. So that's my bad. And like I always say, you know, if I mess up, if I say something wrong, then I'll tell you guys. You know, I have no reason to bullshit, and like I always say, I'm okay with being wrong. I think it's a problem when we get into, you know, into our heads and we're not willing to admit when we're wrong, you know, because also when you're arguing with somebody or debating with somebody, if you know that person can't admit that they're wrong when they're wrong, why even argue with them? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it even worth it? The debate, the argument, or anything? It's not. They're never going to say that they're wrong if they're wrong. And I don't ever want to look like that. I'd like somebody to know that if I honestly feel like I'm wrong, I'm going to just say it. Another thing I was wrong about, which I really wasn't wrong about this. I just didn't have the information, and I said it in the video. So what happened was the company sent me this knife, and I had it ready to go up for, you know, I worked on it that day, and I had a schedule of shit I already have to do. So this was the day I was going to do it. And I kept contacting them, expecting them to just respond and tell me the information I needed. 99% of the time, that's what happens. But they didn't. Then they finally responded, but they kind of pushed me off, like we're going to get it to you. We're going to get it to you. And it was just the information on the Remet knife. Well, then after the video's up, then they send me all the information. So I did not have the information on the knife beforehand. So the way this thing comes apart is with the backspacer. So this is it's an awesome knife. Everything I said about the knife is true. But it's just I didn't know, one, I wasn't 100% what the steel was, but I wound up finding that out pretty quickly, and I was right. It was M390. But this thing goes like that. You just pop it up. See, just pop it up like that. Oh, that pushed the blade a little bit. I should have opened it first. Then you pop that up like that, and now that's a little flathead for you to put it in the pivot, for you to tighten the pivot. So that's how you take apart the knife. As far as the other, I'm guessing that once you take apart the pivot, the whole thing comes apart. That's the only thing I could think of, because yeah, there's no other screws. So, I mean, there's screws, but the screws are hanging on to inlays and things like that. So, it's pretty cool. I mean, it is pretty awesome. And I do like the knife, but it sucks not having the information when the video is about to go up. And you got people commenting, because what happened was then they did put it up. So then the information was on their site, even though at the time when I made the video, right? Because remember, there's a difference there. Making the video separate from when it's uploaded, you know, so that there's a big time gap between there. So it can be hours between that. So I could have filmed it yesterday, and then now I'm uploading it today or whatever. The point is, though, is that by the time my video was uploaded, then after that, the information came out. So then a bunch of people knew the information. They're leaving it in the comments, the information. And, you know, it just makes you look bad. I probably just shouldn't have did the video. I probably should have just waited, but I never would have thought that it would have taken that long. And I had already worked on the video, and I was kind of thinking like, whatever, who, you know, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But Chris Jones been a member for 14 months. Shout out to to Two Bones Jones. Just one of the many reasons I subscribe to, watch, and I'm loyal to your honesty, no matter the consequences. Well done, sir. What's up, chat? Smack that like button, please, and thank you. Hell yeah, please smack that like button. I do appreciate it. So I'm working on it right now. So it's just taking me. This is why I wanted to get it earlier, because I want to make sure I do a good job on the video. But I had videos that. So I originally thought I was going to get it earlier than I did, right? So I had schedules already coming up, and I had videos that had to be up at specific times and things like that Peloton thing. Like I was late on that, and like there was just a bunch of things I was, you know, running late on. So I finally, when I got this knife, now I already have videos I'm working on that are like, I don't even have room in my camera, you know, like I got to finish these first. And then now, you know, like, you know, just scheduled stuff. So I'm working on it now. It should be hopefully done in the next couple days. And yeah, so that one's, you know, and that one being that knife, you know, I wanted to make sure I did a pretty good job on it. I do have some negatives and some complaints. Obviously it's my own design. So if anything, I got to be even more critical than I am on anybody else's stuff. So that's only fair. Jared, you seem quieter. How's that? Better? I got you turned all the way up. Okay, how's that? Is that better? Oh, it keeps turning down. Hang on a second. It automatically turned down there. I didn't do that. Let's try that one. That should be loud. Sorry guys if I'm a little quiet. Also just managed to sneak away from the party. I'm not a fan of large groups regardless. Nice to see y'all. Haven's at a wedding. Okay, so stroppy stuff. We have stroppy stuff on the NEEVEKNIVECO site, linked down in the description. I'm going to tell you guys the stuff that I like the most. Check this out. I'm going to put some on a brand new strap here in a second. See, this is why I really like the stroppy stuff. Every single one of these is a different grit, and you notice they are a specific color. So as long as you're not colorblind, even if you're colorblind, you'll probably still be able to figure out, you know, which color goes where. But you never mistaken. If I show you my other straps, my old straps before I got this, they all look the same, like they're identical, because I was using the stropping, except for the stuff where it's different, right? Like like say the crayon like stuff, the aluminum oxide stuff. But once I went to diamonds, it all looks the same, and it makes it to where it's so difficult to know what you have on there unless if you write it, right? You have to write it on there. But you wind up writing it, you know, changing it, and yeah, it's just a nightmare. This stuff, I never have to worry about that. And the real cool thing about this is, one, the concentration's great. And I personally, out of all the diamond emulsions I've tried, like this stuff, stay away from this stuff. If you guys have probably seen this stuff all over Amazon. Come on, face. This stuff sucks. The diamonds get clogged in the thing and it won't spray and it'll just leak all over the place. I'm fucking throwing it in the garbage. It just absolutely is a nightmare. This stuff isn't like that. This stuff is a spray. The stuff we have on the site is a spray. They do have pump stuff, but all the stuff we have on the site is spray, which is good. It's highly concentrated, and then it has what the hell is it called? Good suspension. So what that means is that the diamonds are floating inside the entire thing and they don't fall down to the bottom and, you know, gather up at the bottom. Some people probably still shake it up before they spray it, but you don't need to, because the suspension, the diamonds are so fine inside of it that the whatever they use for the lubricant or whatever is as heavy as the diamonds probably, and helps lift it up. So it's, you know, it's not possible for it to sink. So it's just, you know, in the entire thing, which is awesome. And of all stropping compounds that I've used, this stuff, well, this stuff, in my opinion, is very similar to gunny juice. So, you know, gunny juice and this stuff is very, very similar as far as what it seems like concentration. I feel like this stuff might be a little bit better, but it's hard to really say definitively. But one thing I really love about this stuff is, like I said, the ease of use and the ease of the color, because gunny juice is all the same color. Now, the way, let me grab the strap. So here's a brand new strap from Stroppy Stuff. Like I said, I don't have these. Well, I said this in the other video. I don't have these on the site, but I do have all the emulsions on the site. And we have small ones too, by the way. So you don't have to get a 30 ml. You can get a 5 ml. This will be about 40 applications. I think that's what it, yeah, about 40 applications. And I'll tell you which one I would get if I was you guys, if you guys were only going to get one. But the big bottle is worth it because it's going to last obviously a lot longer, but you can just get a small one if you're trying to save some money. So here is a brand new strap from Stroppy Stuff. And listen, guys, man, I love these straps. I really do. But they are expensive. They are so damn expensive. So there's no way I could put them on the site and tell you guys to buy them. I couldn't do it. I would tell you guys to go buy a different one because they're super expensive. But you can get good quality straps all over the place, like Amazon. You can make your own straps. Like, straps are not hard to make, but you could easily just buy one for 15, 20, 30 bucks. And a decent one too. Like, it's not like the $20 one's going to be bad. It's still good. But anyways, you can see they put the logo on there for me, but this stuff's really cool. So here, let's do the 9. I want the 9 micron. So this is my favorite. There's 9 and 6. 9 and 6 is my absolute favorite. And I'm going to explain why here in 1 second. But first, let me just spray it on here. That's it. Bang. So the reason why I like 6 and 9 the most. So 6 is the one I will say, if you're only looking for just a one and done, get 6. The reason why is because 6 is going to work on polished edges and toothy edges, just basically just the same, because it's fine enough that if you use it on a polish, it's not going to scratch the polish. It's going to be fine. But it's also aggressive enough that it's not, you know, that it can still work on medium grit edges. However, higher, or like a 9 micron, is going to work better on medium grit edges. So if you're mostly doing factory edges, toothy edges, medium grit edges, get 9 micron. Just get 9 micron. It will serve you way better. It's more aggressive. And that's the point. Like, most of the time when you guys have stropped and you haven't noticed anything, that's because it's not aggressive enough. It just can't do it. Remember, it isn't abrasive. So, you know, it's like I can grab a sharpening stone and try to sharpen on it. It ain't going to do anything because it's not aggressive enough. Same thing with stropping compound. It has to be aggressive enough to do it. So you want to use what works, and also edge angle is like everything. So the excuse me, the lower the edge angle you have, the faster and more responsive strop is going to be. That's not saying that stropping is not going to work on high angle edges and thick edges. Of course it will, but it's more material to remove, so it's not going to be as responsive. Just think about it like that. Thinner, obviously, it's going to cut faster, right? If it's thicker, it's not going to cut as fast. So, yeah, you can add the little microscopic teeth at the very apex a little bit, but it's not going to be as effective. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, you see, this stuff's already done. It's been done this whole time. It probably got done within like 20 seconds. I just kept talking, but it's ready to go, ready to strop. So unlike a lot of stuff where you gotta let it sit for 24 hours, this stuff I can literally just go to town. But anyway, so like I said, if I was gonna get one personally, and I wanted to be able to do both or all different edges from polished to toothy, I'd get 6. If polished edges was not a big deal, I would get 9. Now, if polished edges is the only big deal, then I would go with 1 or lower. I really like this half micron pink stuff, but anything from 1 micron, half micron, or quarter micron will work on mirror polish. Now, I personally don't see a difference between 1 and a quarter micron with polished edges, unless if I use all 3. So meaning like if I come off of the stone and I have a mirror polished edge fresh off the stone, if I strop with 1 micron or quarter micron, I don't notice a difference. But if I strop from 1 micron, like a few passes on each side, then go to half micron, few passes on each side, then go to quarter micron, few passes on each side, then I notice a little bit of a difference. The mirror will be a little bit cleaner, a little bit shinier, the scratches will be less apparent. So because just like sharpening, right? When you progress, that's when it's most effective. Now, overstropping can happen, but it's usually from lifting. That's 90% of the time well, it's either one, pressure or lifting. So what that means is either one, when you strop, you're putting pressure, right? And what's happening is as you're putting pressure, you're indenting the leather. And as you slide the edge across, the leather is going around the edge bevel and rounding over the apex. So it's like this, like it's going like this. And it's basically rounding the apex. So you want to make sure you're not adding no pressure. Let the diamonds do the work, right? But also make sure your angle is not too high, because that's another thing. If you go up too high, that's all you're getting is the apex. You want to get the entire bevel. So you want to make sure it's on, like the back of the bevel and the apex. Now, if you're not positive, going with a lower angle will never hurt you. It will never do anything bad. The only thing it can do at a lower angle is polish the back of the bevel, but it can't hurt the edge. However, going too high will. So if I lift it up too high right there like that, that would ruin my edge. But if I hold it too low like this, it ain't going to do anything. So if you're in doubt, just go a little bit lower and work your way up. But just work your way up slightly, like do a couple passes at that angle and check it out. Really though, if you just get your eyes, right here and pay attention like this, you can really see, like you can kind of lift it up, see a shadow, and then just lift the spine up until that shadow goes away. And once you see that shadow go away, that's your angle. And don't think too much into it. Like just it's just stropping. It's not going to hurt anything. A lot of times, and I say this all the time, that one of the biggest problems is confidence. People just don't have enough confidence in themselves, and they worry and they stress out. And I've done the same thing. That's how I know. And the frustration of not knowing if you're doing it right or if you're holding something right, if it's the right angle, makes you change it. You start adjusting, and then every time you adjust, it messes up. So, average Joe, to fly at night, you have to be not colorblind. Airlines probably won't hire you. I am colorblind and went flying today. Hope to get my license soon. Very cool, Palmer. Good for you, man. I got a weird Raptoy. the dog can get it from a throw. If he looks away and it's on the ground, poor blind dogs, dog, can't find it. Jared's knife is made in China. Which one? What knife? Me too. I managed to work in the printing industry for 15 years and was considered an expert in color. Huh. An expert in color. That's interesting. Me and Kara always argue about colors. She used to tell me I was colorblind. I almost believed her for about 10 minutes. Then we found out it was probably just her that was colorblind the whole time. I think girls and guys see color slightly different though. So, let's see here. Oh, so I do want to talk about a couple other things. So the apparel, the Neevekniveco apparel. I should have wore one. The new stuff. So the final stuff is on the way right now. So I should have it in a few days. Once I have it, then very soon after, if not right then, it will be up on the site. And I will showcase the new styles because we did do a few modifications and changes. So those will be available to the public. 100% USA made with USA flags on there with knife art. I think it's badass. I hate the thought of ever wearing a shirt that's patriotic or that has a flag on it that's not USA made. So it's really awesome. And I'm very excited about all, of that because I've been trying to do this for a very long time. Very long time. I've been looking into it. I started looking into USA Apparel like 2 years ago. Anyways, the point is we finally got it happening and I'm really happy about it. And within like a month, I'm going to come up with like a new design every month that maybe I'll just do limited for the month or something, but we'll drop it, and people like it. Maybe we'll keep it, but just to keep things changing and stuff. But some of them are really simple. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure I got just regular stuff, like say this t-shirt, right? Like if it's just a regular t-shirt and you can't really see anything on it that looks bad, you're not going to be scared to go pick up your kids from school. Not that you guys would be. I'm just saying some people, right? Like they might not want to go to, I don't know, a school board meeting or something with a bunch of knives and shit on their chest or whatever. But if it's subtle, right? And that's what I tried to do. I wanted to do just like say a little tiny 1-inch knife right here, just a 1-inch. Or a 1-inch one down at the bottom, like right here at the bottom of your shirt. And then a USA flag on this side, just a 1-inch flag. So you can see it's USA made and you can see a knife, but it's subtle, right? It's something you could actually dress up or dress down. Now there's going to be some that are more outspoken, knife, but not all of them, which is kind of cool because I personally sometimes like to match my colors, but to match the style, however I'm going out that day. And sometimes you don't want to break it up with a bunch of billboarding, but it's kind of nice to have one little tiny thing, like I said, like a little knife right there. I think the style's cool. So that's just me, but I think it'll bleed over to you guys. Bluetooth, been a member for 13 months. Please explain fixed angle systems for the unknown. What do you mean? Please explain them. I actually have a top 5 fixed angled sharpening video coming up. So that's coming up very soon. That's another long form video I'm working on. So you guys will see that and that'll explain a lot. I mean, it's not really it's about the systems more than teaching fixed angle knife sharpening, but fixed angle knife sharpening is just a system holds the knife and holds the stone at the angle for you, and you just have to do the work, but it holds it for you. So you don't have to worry about holding the angle. I just ordered the 6 micron 30 ml, 2 left. Get them while you can. We're gonna restock them. Just so you guys know, we're gonna restock them. But hell yeah, Jones, thank you, brother. I appreciate the support. But this is stuff like, to me, it's like you guys want this stuff. Like personally for me, once I got this stuff, I've never even used anything else afterwards. And I should probably give this shit away. I have so much stropping stuff. I'll probably never use any of it. As long as I have this stuff, why would I? Like I got bricks of that crayon stuff. I got like 30 little sticks of it. I even got the Neeves stuff. That's the most aggressive stropping compound I've ever felt in my life. I might maybe I'll keep that one because there's one I have that's like sandpaper. It's so crazy, but no, man, this stuff's so legit. It's so good. And diamonds last longer because so the aluminum oxide, right? The ones with the crayon, the reason why that stuff is not as good as this stuff is one, it doesn't cut as good, but two, the abrasive, you think about it as like little tiny crumbs of ceramic or something, right? Just like little particles. They break down and smash and crack much easier than diamonds. So they shatter. And what happens is as they all shatter over the surface, they eventually don't work no more. And then the thing that's kind of holding on to the abrasive, it sinks down below the surface. So it winds up just not working anymore. So then you have to reapply it. You have to keep reapplying it. Now here's the bad part. The more you apply it, the faster it wears out, in my experience. So what I noticed is once my shit was really thick, like, and really loaded up with that stuff, it seemed like the abrasive almost got pushed down beneath the surface and just would not work anymore. Diamonds don't do that. And the beautiful thing is you can clean this so easily as long as you get the flesh side. So for this stuff, I recommend getting the flesh side, not the furry side. So not the suede side. You can use the suede side. If that's what you have, use it. That's fine. But the cool thing about this stuff is that you can easily clean it. Like, I mean, I can literally just take alcohol, go and then wipe it off with a paper towel. Clean it all off. It's brand new or damn near brand new. So very easy to clean, and it spreads so much easier. You guys seen it when I did the one stuff when I sprayed it. I mean, you can just literally just wipe it all the way around. With the suede stuff, it just soaks in. So you can't spread it as easily. Luckily, we have sprays. So the sprays will work on the suede if that's what you have and that's what you like the most. Because some people do like the suede stuff more. And I don't blame you. Michael Upchurch, been a member for 22 months. You think stopping on your jean pant leg does anything? Oh, stropping on your... Yes, I do. I think it does, but the problem is there's no abrasive unless if you put an abrasive. You can make a blue jean strop. That is a thing. That's actually what Rockstead does. If you guys don't know, Rockstead, the Japanese knife making company that makes Rockstead, they take denim and stretch it over like a piece of wood of some sort, and then they add like a an aluminum oxide abrasive to the it's like a polishing compound basically to the denim, and that's what they use for stropping. But they're going for a convex mirror. So Jared, if I've learned anything from your sharpening tutorials, it's that it's okay to not be perfect when it's your own knife. I get so bent out of shape when something tiny goes wrong. Thanks, man. Yeah, that's one problem. It's okay to be nitpicky, right? To some extent, but there's also a level of which it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not healthy. So like, when that level is, right? Like when you're just being fucking ridiculous, really, like when you're really being ridiculous over something. Like I remember one time I was sharpening, I was trying to get, and you'll ruin your knives. And this is what I did here. I was trying to get something out of an edge and not realizing that it's not coming out without removing all the steel underneath it, which happened to be a lot of fucking steel. And I basically ruined the knife. Being so damn picky, I ruined the knife. So, and that's happened to me multiple times. And then there's been times where like I'm getting frustrated and I wind up having a good edge. This is a damn good edge. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody in the world would be unimpressed. And I'm trying to fix the most tiniest thing that nobody in the world would notice. And then I wind up not messing it all up, but going backwards. And now, like, I did something wrong. Now I have to go, jump back a couple stones and redo it, because sometimes you can, if you move along and then you do something wrong with a finer grit stone and it does too much damage, in order to get it out fast, you don't want to use that same stone. You're going to want to drop back down, go to a lower grit stone, get it out, and then move to the next stone again, because it just cuts faster. But yeah, man, don't beat yourself up too much. Nobody else can see it but you. And as long as it's sharp and it works and you can because you can always improve later, right? Like it's as long as it's sharp, man. It's a knife. Use it as a cutting tool. Strop with it. You know, hone it up. Make sure you keep it sharp, and just do the best you can. The biggest thing is making sure your edge has the ability to strop and hone back. That's kind of what's important, right? And this is another reason why I'm not a big fan of like pull throughs and things like that, because they don't work like that, right? A proper edge bevel is made to be maintained, right? That's literally like kind of the point. So once you've set the bevel, now that bevel can be maintained over a long period of time, where you can increase that edge retention like tenfold, literally, like probably like 10 times the amount of what you would have if you didn't. So having the ability to do that, and it having, say, the right angle, you know, and everything, you know, good for that steel and that geometry, that's where you will find a lot of benefits out of said steel, said geometry. If you can put the right angle, the right grit, the right whatever on that knife, you can keep it going for a long time. Sometimes, man, I've been shocked on how long I can keep some edges going for. Then some edges, you know, they just don't, right? So it's not like you're gonna always win that battle, but you know, it's nice when it does happen. Hey, Jared. And my friends in the chat, I haven't been around in a while. My mom has hospital. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Miss y'all. I'm still buying knives. I watch, but don't chat much right now. No problem, man. God bless. Yeah, man, that's tough, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I still have factory edges. I have maintained. Yeah, you know who does the best, in my opinion, the best factory edges to keep on maintaining is Spyderco. I've been able to keep Spyderco edges the longest out of any other company as far as production companies go. I can keep their shit going forever. Not forever, for a long time. As long as you hone it and strop it. And see, when I hone, I mean, sometimes when I hone, I micro bevel, but most of the time I try to hone the entire bevel, meaning when I just pretend this is a stone, when I'm honing it, right, I'm not just getting the very apex of it. I'm literally getting the entire bevel, just like I'd be sharpening it. The only difference is I'm not trying to really cut in a new bevel. I'm just trying to replace the scratches that equal the teeth at the apex to equal bite. And, you know, and straighten out anything that might be bent, you know, or because it's on a microscopic level. So it's not like you're going to see something bent, but the teeth, right? The teeth are formed like this, but then after you've been using them, they start going like this. So you straighten them back out, you know, add some, you know, remove the loose ones when you hone it. I can't put down the VOSTEED Mini Labrador. It's so smooth. The Miguron Curix is awesome and underrated. Yeah, the Curix is a badass one. I say that that's the I say that that is oh man, like a budget whippersnapper. The Olamic whippersnapper. Spyderco cools the steel while they sharpen. I don't know about the sharpening protocol. I heard that they use a robot. I don't know what's true and what's not. I haven't seen it. I've heard they use a robot though. But regardless, the reason why I have found that their edges last the longest is because of their angle. That's the main reason. It's because they use lower edge angles. Look at all other knives. Just pay attention. Look at their bevels. Look at the size of them. They're small. Now get this. They're very small bevels. Spyderco usually has a big bevel because it's a lower edge angle. Now, you could argue that the other knives are thinner, so that's why, you know, but it's still, they are thinner, but they're still using higher angles. And Spyderco does, you know, basically 20 degrees, or sorry, not 20 degrees, 20 thousandths behind the edge with like a 15-degree edge bevel, between 15 and 17-degree edge bevel. Most companies are running 22.5 and up, 22.5, 25 degrees, some even up to 30 degrees. So that makes it to where you're way less likely to hone and strop that edge back over and over and over and over and over and over. It's just too blunt. Because remember, with edges, the blunter it is, as that wears down, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get this back to keen, because look at how thick it is now, right? When I do that to this, it's still thin as shit. So that's kind of the point. It's much thinner at the apex. You have the ability for your stones to do work, to be able to work. And the only way you're going to be able to get the thicker, blunter edge to do that is to drop down and sharpen it, because now because it's blunt. So in order to bring it back to true, you have to remove much more material. How do you remove that material? You got to go with a coarser stone. But when it's thin in a low angle, you can use a less coarse abrasive, like a honing stone, and do work. You know, it'll still work. And stropping compounds or whatever will work. I just got a golden design standard knife and a Tuya mutt knife. They're sweet. Hell yeah. Tuya's got a new knife coming right now that I'm pretty excited about. I just got this knife in the mail today. This thing's something else, man. Well, I gotta say, I got a couple. One, I got a video coming out about tomorrow, or maybe I'll post the other one tomorrow too. I still have to film it, but the one I filmed all day today, I did the review today, and that's going up tomorrow. You guys will see that. But this other folding knife came in today, and I want to show you guys so bad right now. It is so nice. It is so damn nice. The designer did a great job. I was airborne riggers, or that's what I called you guys. All the equipment we jumped had to be rigged. The Air Force guys at Pope AFB checked everything. When are the hats coming? I'm too fat for the Force. Okay, so if you're too big for the 4X, I'll see. I don't know if we can get bigger. I'll try. We might. I don't know if we can get bigger than that, but I'll see what I can do. But I'll see what I can do about getting hats. Hats USA made. I don't know how easy that's going to be, but I might be able to. What's the black guy's name that likes big knives and said sauce a lot? He said sauce? I don't know. I can't think of him. Got a notice that my TKELL shipped. I'm pumped. Yeah, very cool. And thank you for the support. Like I said, man, my video is going to be coming out about it very soon. Like I said, I do have some negatives on this first batch, but they are going to be refined in the second batch that they're going to work on, which is really cool. I'm very happy to see that. Like any knife, you know, it's gonna evolve, which is good. So, but you know, like I said, I'm working on the video now, so hopefully I'll be able to have that up in the next like 2 days. I'm okay with wearing a Chinese-made trucker hat. I know a lot of you are, and it's just I want so bad to have an American flag on it. I want really bad for it to say USA made. That's just the things I want, you know. I like personally, and it's not that I don't obviously buy fucking Chinese shirts and pants and stuff too. I'm sure my perfect jeans are probably made in China, but they're damn good, I'll say that much. But when I can, as much as possible, I try to wear USA made. Like this shirt, this is USA made. This is 3-Fit Theory. So I try to buy, because you can get that. That's the point. You can, and it's not that much more expensive. Chinese made shirts have went up big time, so they're damn near as expensive. Maybe some of them are more affordable, but you can get some pretty affordable USA made t-shirts. Like 3-Fit Theory starts at like $17 for the lowest quality, up to like $30 or more than 30 for the higher quality. And the low quality is not bad. It's not like it's bad quality. It's like this. It's just a regular t-shirt. What's my favorite USA knife? I don't know. That's tough. I want really bad a Holt. I really want a Holt. I seen their new one, and I'm like really wanting that. I love Oz. I love Koenig. I love Chris Reeves. I love Hinder. I love all the USA companies for the most part. The big deals, you know. But my favorite, my all-time favorite, I don't know, man. That's tough. It's tough. Spyderco, I would say, is like my favorite all-around production company, but I separate them from like the Holts and the Oz's and the Koenigs, just like you guys do, right? I just separate them. They're not even in the same realm. But if you're gonna ask me like what's my favorite USA company, it's gonna be Spyderco because they've just been the most consistent the past 2 years. Now that could change next year, right? And I might change my mind. But the past 2 years, I man, all like the sharpening I've done and everything, it's just like they have stood out of the crowd like by far. Like it's not even like a competition. So and that stands out when you do that over and over and over and over because it's not like it happened once or twice or 3 times, right? It happens damn near every time. You know, I'm not saying they don't run any steals bad because I'm sure they do, but just on a balance of probabilities, if I'm working on different steals, you know, from multiple different companies, if I had to put money on it, right, in like a group, I'm putting my money on Spyderco every time because it's just they from my experience, they always outpace everything, which I love, and I respect it. So, but like I said, I want a damn hole. That's what I want. There's also another company I'm gonna have it here really soon, so I don't want to talk about it too much. I did talk about it a couple weeks ago, so that one I'm really excited about, and that's a USA made knife. Jared, I'll message you on Instagram. There are USA made hats that are easy to get. I have at least one. So I'm not saying they're not easy to get. I'm saying are they easy to get wholesale, right? It doesn't matter if you guys can go buy USA hats places, I'm sure. But can I get them on my site with my branding and things like that on them? That's what I'm on. But yeah, let me know if that's true. Totally agree on supporting USA made knives, but man, the quality companies like KUNWU, Riat, and Quiet Carry put out is crazy. Yeah, but so Quiet Carry, that's Taiwan. So people would still consider that in the same realm because they're an ally, right? Any country that's an ally, most people that want to buy USA products are okay with buying Taiwan. They're okay with buying Japan. They're okay with buying companies from companies that are allies to us. So that's usually the problem is it's China, which I understand. But I like as much as possible to support the USA as much as possible, man, because it's the home team, you know. And right now, with as shitty as everything's getting, it just keeps on getting shitty and shittier. It's better that we put money in the Americans' pockets as much as possible. Like, and listen, man, I'm not anybody who doesn't have the money. You're broke or hurting. Do whatever you fuck you got to do, man. I get it. Trust me, I've been there a million times over. So I completely get it, and that's why I usually try to give people different ranges. Like when somebody asks me something, it's like, well, what price range you at, right? I'm not just going to give you an answer because I don't want to be insulting in any way. I'm okay with whatever budget you're at, and I'll try to help figure out what the best would be for that budget. And we want to go to war with China. We wouldn't have the stuff we need because we don't make it. It's true. That is true. But I'll buy anything made in Taiwan. I like Taiwan, man. I really wish I could find. I'm gonna try to look as much as possible. I would love to know who the OEM is, like for like Quiet Carry and some other companies that are making Taiwan knives, and see if they can do some OEM work because they do a damn good job. They really do. They're doing good shit over there. So shout out to Taiwan. And they're stepping up. Like I imagine if they continue and nothing happens, right? And they continue in the next 10 years, they're gonna be doing they're gonna be dominating. You are not putting money in American pockets, but in private companies who then lobby our politicians for more profit. What are you talking about? That's not true at all. If you buy something from my site, an American site, then the money's going into my pocket, my partner's pocket, right? The mailman's pocket. Like it trickles down. Blade HQ, you buy a knife from Blade HQ. Blade HQ makes money. The delivery man makes money. Um, the designer makes money, and yeah, and then the company makes money. So the money gets split across. Like I've watched like the amount of like, even when you buy China, right? When you buy China, most of the time, like if there's a USA designer, which 90% of the time there is so if there's a USA designer, like it's well over 50% goes to the USA because because of all the other shit. Like they make it for very affordable. So when you think about the percentages of what's spent and what's earned, in many cases, I'm not saying all, right, but in many cases, it's the US that makes out more than China. They're happy for that because they're just going to keep on trickling up, trickling up them prices. That's what they're doing. Blade Binge. Shout out to Blade Binge, formerly known as NAF Sale. Thank you for the $9.99. Happy Saturday, Neeves. Happy Saturday to you too. They have a knife dropping tomorrow. You guys will see the video tomorrow as well. So I'll keep it hidden until then. But shout out to them. Definitely go and check them out. It's where you can buy and sell knives. I'm sure you guys know this by now, but if not, might as well tell you. They are a site where you can buy and sell knives. You can also buy brand new knives. So they not only have used knives, they have new knives. And they also have a place for you to sell your knives, whether they're new or used. So definitely check them out. Chris Jones with the 5 bones. I could always get one made with your logo on it. I made Kara Weasel. Obviously, I'd rather buy it from you if possible. Yeah, you could. I mean, that's cool. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best to get some. I'm gonna try to get some coffee cups and all that shit. I don't know if coffee cups will do good, but I'll try to get some hats. I know a lot of people like hats, and I like hats. Jared, why has Buck Knives gone downhill? What happened? So they're stuck in their old ways. It's just I mean, I hate to be insulting because I love Buck. I truly do. Remember, I grew up with Buck. They're iconic to me. I think of him like a grandpa, and I truly mean that. All the old timers in my life growing up all carried Bucks. So I had Bucks. Since I was a little kid. I had the whole set when I was a kid. My first hunting set, my first hunting knife was a Buck. So they'll always have a place in my heart. But I think the people that run Buck are just an older generation, and they're not into knives like the new generation, right? And it makes it to where they're separated from the community and what the younger generation. And I'm not saying you guys are younger generation. I'm saying the newer generation of what we want in a knife. I'm not talking about age or people. I'm just talking about knives, right? Like the things we expect in knives today, the type of fit and finish we expect, the type of heat treatment, the type of tolerances, the type of action, all that stuff that we expect today because we've came so far. I think that they're stuck back before where the expectations were much lower. And now we've moved so fast in 10 years. Like we really have. And especially if you look at the past 20, holy shit, have we moved fast? Very, very fast. Like in the past 10 years, heat treatment and the knowledge of heat treatment and geometry and all that has just went through the roof. So I think what they need to do is they need to either do one of two things. Either one, hire somebody who does understand the knife enthusiast today and what they expect and what they want. Or number two, start doing the research, start watching reviews, start paying attention. Maybe order a few knives that some people recommend and take a look at them and see what they're doing right. There's nothing wrong with looking at the competition and seeing what they do right. You're not stealing anything. You're just saying, okay, what are these guys doing that's better than what I'm doing? And it just could be something simple like Buckman. They can't do a fucking sharpening tool to save their life, so they could definitely learn that. And that's not stealing anything. You know, a lot of companies are using it. It's just, what does a good plunge grind look like? What does a good choil look like? Back in the day, they didn't really give a shit about that. You know, it's just a tool. It's going to break. It's going to, you know, but now, especially with quality knives, we hold them at a higher standard. Some people take better care of their tools. Of course, there's going to be some that are beaters, of course. And maybe some of those will be bucks. But some of them you want to be proud of, right? It's not something you want to just stick in between a rock and break the second day you have, right? It's something you're going to want to hang on to. You're going to want to sharpen. You want to keep good. You know, it's going to be, you know, your partner, you know. I own 60 plus knives from 30 to 800, and it blows my mind what companies can put out for 50 to $60. I know. It's true. That is true. I think Buck just makes knives for men that use knives as nothing more than a purpose-driven tool, and their main purpose for their tools are hunting and fishing. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's kind of what I'm saying right now. But that also makes it to where they get to cut corners. So how long is that going to last? Really, really, truly think about that. How long is that going to last? It's not going to last much longer. It's not. They're going downhill fast. You know, like when I first joined the community, Buck was very, very, very much respected, and they were still doing things like kind of keeping up with the market. Like they did the Buck Marksman and things like that. But if they don't, they will be left behind. And I hate to say it, because I think it's sad, and I don't want to see that. I think they can always make up for it. Don't get me wrong. I think they can always come back. But if you're relying on only hunters and users, like okay, but those same guys are eventually going to watch a knife review. Those same guys are eventually going to watch some knife testing. Those same guys are eventually going to watch those knives get outperformed by a knife that costs half the amount. So it's only a matter of time until they see that. There's only a matter of time before they watch their Buck knife get compared next to a knife that's half the price. And I'm not saying that the person should pay less, you know, and go to China or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're going to watch a knife that is much less, have everything done right on it, you know, and they're going to have it explained, like you see where they did this wrong, you see where this one did this right. So it's like little things, you know, but they all add up. They all add up. And when I look at it, I'm looking at the price across the board, right? So I'm saying like, okay, well, this company for this much money can do all these things right. Now, this guy for even more money isn't doing half of those things, you know, and I'm talking about like, let's say the plunge grind, the screws, the hardware, the clip, the blade geometry, the action, the detent, you know, lock bar access, all these things. How do you choose to hone on a rod or a stone? So I choose it. So this is exactly how I do it, Charleston. If the edge has enough damage, not damage, if the edge is wore enough that it could use a sharpening, right? But I still can kind of hone it. What I'll do is I will put it on the rod, because the rod will let me micro bevel it, and it will cut in a tiny little apex right on the apex, tiny little apex on the apex, making it a brand new edge for the moment, which will make it much sharper. It'll cut much cleaner, but it's not going to last very long. This is just a time. It's letting you get more time. Now, if it's not that bad, but say stropping would work, right? But honing would work better, then that's when I'll hone. So I'll do just a few passes on a honing stone, and then I'll strop. And the reason why is because, especially with low angle edges, like high angle edges, I'm way more likely to just put on a ceramic rod. Low angle edges, I'm way more likely to hone on a stone, because like I said, the honing stone, the abrasive, it has the ability to cut the lower angle. A higher angle, right? I need to just cut something up into that because it's too thick. It's too thick for my little lightweight abrasive, right, from a honing stone, because honing stones are very fine. They're not very aggressive. So, of course, you could go with a more aggressive honing stone. You could absolutely do that. And those are all things that you can do. But yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it, depending on the edge angle and depending on how much it needs, how much work it needs. The Spyderco did an excellent job with my S30V. The Sage 5 lightweight is phenomenal. I love Spyderco's S30V. I like it more than S35, like, for sure. I've never had an issue with their S30V. I have tons of their S30V, and I don't have one bad example. Honestly, I haven't been disappointed with Spyderco's heat treats since the days they were using say, yeah, it's been about 3 years, maybe 4 at this point. I bet you it's been 4, maybe even 5, man. Since I've seen, it's probably been 4 years. I'm gonna say 4 years has probably been since I've seen anything or heard anything. Not saying they can't, right? Not saying that it's not going to happen, but it's just from, the stuff that I've had in and the stuff I've seen. Buck sells more knives than everyone else combined, though. I don't know how true that is. I think that was true or is true if you look at it from the history. Like, if you say, how many knives has Buck sold compared to all of the companies, then yeah. But if you look at its sales from the last year, just the last year, I don't know if they'd win that. I don't think they'd win that. They might, because they're in big box stores. But like I keep saying, those days are going to be gone soon. Remember, most of the things that you buy in stores, you can get cheaper online. There's still a lot of people that buy stuff in stores, but eventually they're going to want to save the money and buy it online. They can get the same damn thing. So instead of going to Bass Pro and spending $75 on a Kershaw leak, you can buy it online for $45, right? And then people are they're going to look to reviews to see what a product is like. That's only going to become more and more and more as time goes on. The day of believing what a company says to you is over. You're going to look to somebody who's tested it and who knows to tell you whether or not what's good and what's bad about it. And so more and more people are going to be less likely to go to stores. They're going to be more likely to buy from dealers because they're going to hear it scream, don't buy from stores, buy from fucking dealers. You're going to get cheaper. You're going to have, everything's going to be better that way. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to be a little while, but it's a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb for any older company that's not competing, right? That's what you got to look at, is just the competition. Are they competing, right? With the new market, are they competing? You could say yes, in this arena, yes, they are 100%. But what about the other arena? No. Okay, so how long can that last? You know that Spydercos are going to have some new ones coming out designed by Poltergeist Works. Really? I did not know that. I've seen Transparent Knives is here. Shout out to Brian. Buck took almost $3 million in PPP loans. Damn. Maybe they're hurting more than we think, or they just took advantage of the PPP. I don't know. Damn, though. But I like I said, I would guess if you put them next to some other companies just the past year's sales, I don't think they're going to be doing as good as you think. Like I said, I understand big box stores, right? But man, I feel like today people are buying more Kershaws and Gerbers than Buck. And I don't necessarily recommend Gerber. I pulled my Livewire OTF out of the glove compartment today. I was shocked to find a visible nick in the handle. I had like 2 pens and paperwork in there. Where did this nick come from? Tough to say. I know with folding knives in your pockets or anytime you have it anywhere, coins get in there. A coin will fall right in there and then it'll get stuck and it'll bang around and fuck your edge all up. Something that does not get enough love, Spyderco BD1, and excellent for EDC use, especially food prep. Dead simple to sharpen, easy to get a great finish, should be the default budget steel. The problem is nobody else is using it. There's not very many companies using it, so it's difficult for them for people to recommend it when you can only get it from one company. Don't know when they are going to release. Which knife designs are yours, Neeves? I only have one at the moment, but I have another one on the way. Prototypes are being made right now as we speak. So as soon as I get them, I'm gonna release it for you guys to see. And then it's not going to be a pre-order. I'm just going to get them, and we are going to have them on the NEEVEKNIVECO site. And we might maybe release like a 2-week thing if you guys want to just make sure you can claim one or something. But it's not going to be a pre-order. It's just going to be a claiming thing, where if you want to get it. And that's being done by Riet. So I have another thing going on with We. So that should be about in the process of prototypes. I think it should have already been in prototypes, but we're working on it. So hopefully that'll be in prototype phase soon. I got something going on with Best Tech. But as far as right now goes, I have one with TKELL, and I also have something else going on with Steve too, which I'm fucking really excited about that one. Like that one, I'm floored about. It's gonna be very limited though. We'll probably do it in little small batches, like 5 at a time or something. Neeves is a baller with gold paper clips and big notes on the outside. Well, that's not true at all. That is not true. That is not true. Mark with the 5 bones has anodized aluminum a scratch magnet. Yes. Does anyone do aluminum that doesn't scratch? Is it repairable? It's always repairable. You can always buff things out. You can always do things like that. Same thing with titanium. But titanium is way more resistant than aluminum. Aluminum is a soft metal. So any soft metal is going to scratch easily. But that's the beauty of it. Don't think of it as a bad thing. Think of it as a good thing. The scratches you make it are yours. That's your artwork. Just look at it like that. That's what I do. I love my Buck 120 in Skinner Nest 35. Another classic from my grandfather. The folders are definitely lacking though. Agreed. And listen, man, like I said, I love bucks. I always have. I've had a lot of them. I especially growing up, man, I had so many bucks. Buck fixed blades, buck folding knives, buck. I've had tons of bucks. I still got a few bucks. But I definitely think that they could do some improving. And hopefully they do. They do some really nice micarta when they want to. There's a big difference between a baller and a straight up hustler. Yeah, that's what I am. I'm a fucking hustler. What blade seals are you going to use in your folders with Riet? K390 for Riet, and then with I'm negotiating it. They don't really want to work with me on steels, I don't think, but I'm trying. I'm doing what I can. I'm going to try to get something exotic. I got Riet doing K390 at 63 HRC. So I told them I didn't want to do it unless if it was between 63 and 65. They said they were able to hit 63. In order for me to get it up any higher, it was going to cost more money, and it's already a higher price knife. This one's a really nice one, so I didn't want to, have to raise the price anymore. It's already getting a full DLC coating and everything, so it's pretty badass. You guys are gonna see it's fucking dope. It's really dope. I'm really proud about it. Did you check yourself into Titanium Horse Anonymous? No, I have not, and I won't. Say it with me, boys. Sneak peek. I want to see that Neeves done. Very soon. Like I said, I should be having it pretty soon. As far as right now goes, everything's just drawings. You know what I mean? So I'm liking it though. It's gonna be pretty cool. No problem. Can't say enough good things about Aught. Great Cerakote, nice selection of colors, and ergonomics are very pleasant. Yeah, so certain coatings I think can probably help with the scratches. I'm sure that is a thing. But other than that, I can't think of anything else that would really, unless if you move up in aluminum, like to what is the 7075 or something, that might be a little bit more wear resistant. I want to anodize some aluminum scales red like lion steel. Any references? You got to get those coated. So that type of anodizing is like a coating. I'm not sure where you could get it done though. Brian might know though. If asked, what do you tell people you do for a living? Sell knives out of your basement? No, it's tough, man. It's tough because I feel weird when people ask. Very weird. The other day I was getting my hair done and the lady asked. And I have like one or two options. I can say I'm a YouTuber, which sounds gay. Uh, or I can say I'm a content creator on YouTube. It's usually what I default to. I say I'm a content creator. That's what I say. I say, and then if they ask any more questions, which they almost always do, I just say that I have an EDC channel on YouTube where I test and review and teach knife sharpening. Properly hard anodized aluminum has incredible wear resistance. I could show you some things that have had the shit used out of them, and you'd be hard pressed to tell. It's all about the quality. You know, I got some shit too that, man, I've beat the hell out of that looks great. Surprisingly looks great. I mean, you can see that it's been used, you can see wear, but nowhere near what you would think. I need to connect with him. Someone in the cartel. He would be slinging knives. Was there something else I had in mind? Okay, so we are going to have, just so you guys know, we will have the Jack Wolfs on the site as soon as they drop. All versions. We do have a pretty big order, so if you guys are planning on getting one of these, I would greatly appreciate it if you got it from our site, because we picked up a bunch of these, more than I think we wanted to get, but they're awesome knives. I know they're gonna I know they'll sell no matter what eventually. It's just, you know, sitting on them for too long, especially if people are buying them, but they're buying them from other sites, that kind of hurts you because then they already get them, so now they're not going to pick them up. But if you guys are going to get one, please get it from our site, man. These things are freaking amazing. So, and I feel like anybody who's going to get one already knows they're probably going to get one, because a lot of people have been waiting for this one to come back, because the first time when it came out, they didn't have very many. So it went quick. This is way smoother than my other one. Look at this thing. So damn smooth, man. It's crazy how smooth it is. Yeah, this is a good one. But in the wood, I'm normally not a big wood fan in knives unless it's certain types, certain fixed blades, things like that. But for folders, I'm not a big wood fan. But sometimes you could sell me on the wood, and this is definitely one of those times. I think this thing just looks fucking gorgeous, man. That dark wood, you can see the color coming through it, the lighter colors. Remember, this is with wood, there's different cuts. So if you got one, don't expect it to look exactly like mine. It could be way lighter. So just be aware of that. Don't expect it to be as beautiful as mine. That's all I'm saying. Maybe Buck should just improve the steel fit and finish of their 110. I think they just need to do new age knives. I think they need to start, like, I'm not saying stop doing their vintage like knives. Keep doing it. Keep doing your vintage like knives. Do it until you can't do it no more. But, however, start putting yourself in place to be making modern knives, because they don't. They have a couple, but for the to compare them to other modern knives, they're like 10 years behind. That's the problem, is that their modern knives are 10 years behind everybody else's. And it's just a fact. So what they need to do is they need to make their modern day knives compete with the new stuff. Super chat above. Super chat. I didn't see it. James K, been a member for 18 months. Buck has a cologne, smells like boomers in bankruptcy. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, fuck. Oh. Two Bones Jones with the 2 bones. Or no, Chuck it with the 2 bones. All right, I read that wrong. Chuck it with the 2 bones. I'm going to need a recommended Very good. Blue fragrance. I got you, brother. I got you. Got a good blue one. I will do that here in just a minute. Yep, I got it. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. I don't know how I miss those sometimes. It's because the chat jumps. So I won't know. I'll be looking at the screen and it'll jump when I'm not looking. Bucks 420 HC is decent. People gush about the Boss heat treatment. Yeah, but it's not. It is. It used to be. I would say it used to be. I'd say it used to before companies really started. Like I said, in the past 10 years, we've really came a long way in heat treatment. We've seen it across the board for most companies. Most companies have improved their heat treatment because of the knife community. When the knife community started testing the steels, things started changing. You know, when they started seeing, oh shit, these people found a way to do HRC tests and they're putting them online and they're getting a lot of views, you know, they had to start, you know, messing around. And then edge retention tests were coming out and this and that. Like so many things were happening. People started testing the actual steel makeup. Is it really the steel they're advertising? And some companies weren't. So, you know, it makes it to where they get held accountable a little bit more. And that's why, like, the other day when I did that video and people were complaining, like most people had my back and I appreciate it. You guys are really awesome. And you guys supported me and, you know, left a lot of great comments and we're very, very polite and everything. So that was awesome. But to think that the community should just blindly fucking trust any knife company is just absolutely absurd. In the past few years, what have we seen? We've seen companies lie about where their knives have been made. We've seen literally everything across the board. People lying about the steel they're using, lying about their heat treatment, lying about every fucking thing you can imagine we've seen across the board. So why would any company just blindly believe what the company says? Right? No, believe what's true by seeing the results. Whatever the results are is what they are. And that's why it's like, don't get mad at me. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm not the bad guy. I'm just showing you the result. That's it. I don't care if it's good or bad. But yeah, people, I mean, obviously people are going to be upset, especially if they just spent a bunch of money on a knife and, you know, they're very proud of it. And I get it, man. I get it 100%. But that doesn't mean we still should be blindly just saying like, these guys know better than us. Because that was like one of the biggest arguments. A knife reviewer knows better than a knife maker that's been doing it for 20 years. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying I know anything about making knives. I'm not, obviously, he's going to be the pro at making knives. But I'll tell you what I can do. I can test a fucking knife. I've tested a lot of them. I've sharpened a lot of them. I've done a lot of edge retention tests. I've tested a lot of geometry. That's what I do. So if it wasn't for consumers to complain about products, would any product ever get better? Think about everything you have around you right now. Just look around wherever you're at. Every single product you look at right now has been improved because other companies have heard the bitching and complaining from the consumer and made the changes. Either one, the company that was already doing it, or another company came behind them and started beating them. That's just the way it goes. So if we don't have that, and if people are silent, then why would a product ever get better? Really think about that. No product would have ever changed in the past 50 years if people didn't have complaints and bitches. And sometimes it's not even complaints and bitches. It's just like, what would make this better? Right? What would make this easier to use? You know, and there's usually an answer. So let's keep it going, right? Steve's in the house. Super Steel Steve with the 5 bones. There isn't a damn thing special about the bossy treatment. It was all marketing. 5 years ago, 99% of this community didn't know what the HRC test was. Yeah, exactly. Fucking I didn't know. It was probably a little bit more than that, but basically about that 6-7 years ago or something. I didn't know anything about it. And that's what I mean. Like it's something where before, companies were not doing it as good. You know, granted, they might have been good at that time, you know, when, you know, the competition's very low. But, you know, when you start competing with real competitive heat treaters and real competitive, you know, people that really care about that shit to the highest degree and focus on it. And with any generation, you're going to have, because remember, the next generation always learns what the old generation knew for the most part and expands more. That's usually how it goes. I'm not saying always, but there's usually a reason why things just progressively get better, right? Like, it's think about Teslas versus the Model T, right? It only gets better. So well, you have to look at it like that, and to think that the next generation of you is not looking at things you're not looking at, or isn't testing things, or isn't, you know, tweaking things and figuring things out more than you, because you're set in your ways and you figured out your recipe, right? You have figured it out. So are you still experimenting? Because the new guys have not figured it all out. So they are experimenting. They know what you know because they can read it. So now they're experimenting with their own shit, which does give them the ability to, you know, find new ways and, you know, better ways to do things, which we want. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. I really can't wrap my head around any company that literally isn't just on board with that. I truly can't, like, and that's why it's a little upsetting when they get mad at me for fucking talking about it. Like, I feel like we should all be on board with whatever the truth is, just getting better, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what the answer is. Let's just figure it out, you know? And if I'm wrong about anything, okay, cool. I'm just looking for the truth anyway. So does it matter? I mean, it shouldn't even be about wrong or right. It should just be about what is, you know? And obviously there's going to be some variations in anything, but there still is going to be, you know, things that are better for certain things. This one is better, cheaper, and the cost of everything went up so much over the years. It has been since I bought the last one. What in the hell were you talking about? I'm not counting on Jen. That's not what I said, but I get what you're saying. That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. But remember, there's always going to be the hustlers, the go-getters. What you see is, remember, the ones you don't see. The ones you don't see, guess what they're doing? They're working. Just remember that. You don't see those guys. You see the other guys. You see the guys who are not working. Just remember that. All you're going to see is the guys that aren't doing shit. They aren't working. They're not, you know, mastering anything. The guys that are doing that, you ain't going to see. So, you know, give them a little bit more credit. They're out there. They're out there. Remember, granted, you know, like, the generations, testosterone went down dramatically, and there's been a lot of issues, but there still is a lot of roughneck motherfuckers that have raised boys and girls in the past, you know, couple generations. So I think we'll be just fine. Do you really think Spyderco prices are out of line considering their heat treat QC? They're releasing new models all the time. It costs something to tool up for those new models. I don't personally think Spyderco's prices are out of line. And let me explain why. So one, I personally find that they're fairly consistent. I'm not saying you're not going to get a lemon here and there. I'm not saying you're not going to have an issue, but they're pretty damn consistent. Their heat treatment's really good. Their locks are nice and strong. Their knives are almost always solid. So considering that, and like when you look at the hardware and the build, their build quality is good. So I'm not saying they're the best. I'm just saying they're good, right? So, and that's what people want, right? They want good. They don't want bad. They don't maybe even want the best, right? Because that costs a lot of fucking money, but they definitely want good. And Spyderco has that. And, you know, especially their USA line, because I'm specifically thinking about their USA line right now. We could talk about the Taiwan line and the Japanese line, but for the USA line, it's USA made. They're doing a great job with their heat treatments. They're using more steels than any other company, which does cost money because they have to experiment with those steels. They have to test them out. They have to do all kinds of shit with those. So that's another thing. And then, yeah, when they do new designs, that's a whole nother thing. Obviously, they make money off of it in the long end, but, you know, in the short end, they obviously have to invest money. So I personally don't, if it goes a bunch of, if it goes like a lot higher, then yeah, I'm going to complain. But you know, where it's at, just put it this way, the Mannix Rex 45 and the Mannix M4 with FRM with the crossbar, or sorry, with the ball lock is $135 to $145. That's badass. That's phenomenal. So, you know, granted, there's going to be more expensive knives, but you can get a damn good solid knife from them for a very affordable price, considering USA made. Remember, that's the same price as what Kershaw charges for some of their launch series. So, Tesla and the Model T have the same max distance, but you can fill up the Model T quicker. Yeah, but that Tesla will fucking run circles around that bitch. You can get 10 miles before the Model T gets 6 blocks. Anyone bought the KIZER Momo? I think I have the Momo. I've run out of neighbors' knives to sharpen. Knock knock. Hello, I'm dog. What? You got any knives I can sharpen? I seen you cooking yesterday. I seen you were barbecuing yesterday. Figured you had to have used a knife. Let me check that bitch out. S90V and 440C are Spidey's best steals. I don't know. I think they do. I think my favorite is their K390. That's my favorite. I love their Rex 45. I like all their steels for the most part, but I really want to try that M4. But that their K390. Oh shit, their crew wear too is really good. I love their crew wear. I freaking love Spy 27 at the moment. Just no brainer for sure. Yeah, my favorite right now is K390. Absolute favorite, but I like a lot of steels though, man. I love a lot of steels. Like there's times when I prefer in some cases, like, you know, like a Nitro V or something. But yeah, a crew wear, man. I fucking love crew wear. Crew wear is one of my favorite steels. It's absolutely the shit. What's a banger in K390 then? Got one coming, but Spyderco. You want to go Spyderco? Spyderco, oh shit. Oh yeah, the stretch. Spyderco stretch. That's a banger in K390. It's a great user too. That in my opinion, if I was gonna do like a video of like the top 10 best users of all time, right? The all-time best user knives, the stretch would go in there. Love Spyderco, but every US has wonky bevels. Supposedly it's a robotic sharpened. So do you think they could fix that? I mean, I'm sure they could fix it if they did it by hand, but they'd probably do it by robot. Which, hear me out on this, because you're right. Their bevels are not always even. Most of the time, they're not even at all. However, they do the best edge angle of any company that I can think of, especially production wise. So right there, that's to me that's a plus. The next thing, they actually do a very, very sharp edge from the factory because of that edge angle. So that's a plus. Because of that edge angle and because of that level of sharpness, you can keep that fucker going for a long time. With that low angle like that, you know, you're able to hone and strop that bitch back, you know, back to back, like over and over and over. When other companies, you're not going to be able to do that. You will have to resharpen it 100%. You're not going to be able to keep stropping it and stropping it and stropping it, because like we were talking about earlier, it's, you know, there's just too much material that needs to be removed in order to get to a sharper, keener edge. So the strop's not going to work. So they have a lot of benefits to their edge. Yes, they're wonky. Yes, they sometimes are mixed matched and shit like that, but they're 90% of the time they're really sharp, especially if you put them on a strop right when you get them, just touch them up on a strop really quick. They are nightmarishly sharp in a lot of cases. And then their edge angles are really good, so you can easily maintain them over time. I prefer their edges over most factory edges, to be honest. I know we're pushing Jack Wolf right now, but is there any other modern traditionals that come close to their quality? So Pena is really good. Pena has some good stuff. They're a little bit more they're a little bit more modern than traditional. Another one. But are you talking about locking or non-locking? Because that's a big difference. So with non-locking, QSP has a couple cool things. Traditional Pocket Knives, that's a company I'm not affiliated, but you can find them. Traditional Pocket Knives has a bunch of really good ones. And then like I said, Pena has some good ones. This is not, it's not quite a traditional, but it's kind of like a traditional. I think of them as like a traditional. The Boker, these are done by Riat. The Urban Barlow and the Urban Trapper. They're deep hollow grinds. This one's K390 actually, but this is a Knife Center exclusive. I usually don't shout them out, but they just got a free shout out. These are really cool. But yeah, there's a bunch of companies. Not a lot. None that are doing it like them though, to the extent where it's like very traditional in modern materials. I'm sure there's a couple, but dude, Rex 45 really is impressive though. Yes, it is. I pulled the trigger on that because of your sharpening video. Dude, it is so impressive. So impressive. Shit, I'm still carrying around and still honing and stropping the edge I put on that thing. That thing just keeps going. You know, I obviously haven't dragged it across concrete, but I've broken down tons and tons of cardboard, opened up tons and tons of packages. I've had to clean off tape and debris off of it 24 times, and I just keep lightly touching it up on a strop every once in a while, hit it on a honing or on a fine stone, and it just keeps going and going. Will you give me an honest opinion of one of my folding knives? I don't even care if you do a public review. I just would like feedback from a knife guy. My friends are not blade enthusiasts. I have to know what it is. Just tell me the name and I'll pull it up and I'll take a look at it on here. K390 Delica is very nice. And they have Warncliffe blades. Yes. There you go. There's another K390. If you like small knives, you can go with the Dragonfly too. Teslas aren't cars. They're high-speed appliances for virtue signaling brainwashed fools. Yeah, I definitely don't have one, so. If you like the Delica, look at the Rock Jumper and the Leaf Jumper. Same size, class, and construction, better ergonomics. Good to know. I dig the blue FRN on the K390 Spider Coast. Yes. Yep, and they have the best FRN in my opinion. There's not, I can't think of any other company that I like. No, there's one company that I like their FRN, but it was literally just like Spyderco. So I'm just gonna say they stole it from Spyderco. Car tires cause more pollution than the engines in the electric vehicle cars are too heavy and burn tires, making them a lot worse on carbon than gas. Fact. Yeah, I heard the getting rid of them is like really bad too. K390 Enduro 4 Warncliffe with the ultimate cardboard / tape killer. Thanks for all the noble reviews and tests. Thank you, man. I appreciate the support. What's the role of 3Vs these days? Toughness. Fixed blades. You can put it in a folding knife, but it's not made for a folding knife. So Dave Goodridge with the 10 bones. I don't know why I didn't see it. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it, man. I can't find it, but thank you, man. Maybe it's down here and I haven't found it yet. So let me answer this question. I'm going to catch up so I can there it is. There it is. What's the role of 3V these days? So the role is fixed blade use. So it's supposed to be for toughness. It's like one of the toughest steels, and it has good edge retention. I think its edge retention is similar to like S30V. So it's got good edge retention, not great corrosion resistance, but it's super fucking tough. So it's made for impact. It's made for basically, an indestructible blade. So not necessarily good for a folding knife. Not saying there ain't some examples where it might do well on a folding knife and that you might even want it on a folding knife. I have a couple folding knives with it and I'm happy with it. Nothing wrong with it. But if you're looking for high edge retention, then it might be better to just get a different steel, because you're not going to be able to get the toughness out of it. Right. I guess you could always have them run it a little bit harder, but anyways, fixed blades is where it's at though for that steel. Dave Goodridge with the 10 bones. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. What about Finch? Yeah, Finch is another one. There you go. I wouldn't say they're similar to Jack Wolf, but yeah, Finch is a good one. Finch is definitely a good one. They do a great job. They got some good looking shit and they have great action. They're really good. I'd say they're very different than Jack Wolf. I know maybe looking through it looks like they're similar, but when you get them in hand or anything like that, they are 100% very, very, very different. The same sort of douche canoes that were driving BMWs 20 years ago are now all driving Teslas. 3 Series 20 years ago. Yeah. There's probably a bunch of guys in here right now that have Teslas. And you guys are just insulting the shit out of them. Honey, I'm selling the fucking Tesla. Knife guys hate Tesla. That's hilarious. A Sabenza bushcraft. That'd be cool. Which knife design do you have out? What do you mean? The FLN. Fucking shit, man. Come on. The FLN. I didn't want the logo this big, guys, so yeah, it is what it is. But and then it also comes as with a ring. This you can actually attach a G10 scale to it that has a ring. I prefer this one because you can make it a karambit or a non-karambit, and the whole point of it was to be this concealable so that you can carry it and you can get to it in a last-ditch effort to get somebody off of you. But hey, if you're more comfortable with using a ring, it's just, yes, it adds a lot more length to it, so it's not going to be as concealable. But that's what I have out right now. You can find it on TKELL's website. Like I said, there is going to be some more batches dropping in the near future. Only people who have never stomped on the pedal and the Tesla hates them. That's probably true. I've definitely felt the power only once, and yeah, they are something else. They're definitely something else. They basically put everything to dust, which is crazy. It's like almost like an RC car. You guys ever did the electronic RC cars? Those ones that are really fast and push the button. As fast as you can push the button, it's already the top speed. So however hard you're pushing the button, that's how fast it's going. So if you go all the way, it's all the way. If you push just a little bit, it's going a little bit. That's kind of like the way it feels. What that say? My wife ran into a Tesla with my diesel truck. She really doesn't like Teslas. Ben from Jack Wolf seems like a good businessman. He's not just a good businessman. He's a good dude. He's a guy, dude. He's one of us. He's just a good dude. Yes, he has a knife company. Yes, he sells knives, but just a sweetheart of a guy, man. Easy to talk to. Talked to him many times. Met him in person many times. Just a great dude. Good guys, like I think all of us can kind of tell, when you're in the vicinity of a good guy, a guy that's just an honest guy, a guy that you could rely on, a guy you can trust, a guy you would call for help, and a guy that would not let you down. He's like that kind of guy. So, and I'm very good with people, so I'm very confident in that with them. Only people. Oh, I read that one. I've stomped on the pedal of a Tesla. They are meh and have awful build quality. Imagine Benchmade's. I don't think that's true if you say that, because do you know that the Tesla's 0 to 60 is like as fast as a crotch rocket? What do you mean meh? That doesn't make sense if you've actually stepped on the pedal of a Tesla. They're faster than anything out there. They beat Lamborghinis. So to say meh, what are you talking about? I'm sure there's maybe some that are meh, but those are like the, I don't know. I don't have a Tesla, so I'm not going to speak on too much, but I have felt a Tesla's power, and they're fucking fast. I'm not saying they're not pieces of shit. I don't know. I don't have one. I ride in them all the time because I take Ubers, and there's a lot of Ubers that are Teslas. But I'm not claiming they're good or bad. I have no dog in the fight. I could give a fuck less. I love Porsches. That's my shit. So don't nobody talk shit about Porsches in here. We can drag Teslas all day, but I don't want to hear nobody talk shit about Porsches. Otherwise, we're ending this fucking stream. Here we go. Man, I keep getting all these emails in the past 2 minutes. No, I won't swap my ACR Viper for your Tesla, dummy. I'm having to copy and paste this. I don't know anything about cars, but when I floor my parents' Tesla, it do go fast. Yeah. Yep. There is different models, different versions, but even the truck, right? The truck is like one of the heaviest pickup trucks that just came out, and it beats a Porsche while towing a Porsche. I don't know if you guys seen that video, or not. I'm sure you guys have. So it can beat a Porsche in a quarter-mile race. They're incredibly powerful the way that they're designed, but I'm not saying they're good quality. I have no idea. I don't have one, but there is different grades and different levels, and like the fastest ones, like the sport ones or whatever, are like 1.8 seconds from 0 to 60, which is literally like a crotch rocket. Like before that, like there's a Porsche that can do 2.9, and but like even fast Porsches in most cases are like 3.5 to 4 seconds 0 to 60. So imagine that. 1 second going 0 to 60 is a lot. Sean Wise with the 10 bones. What's your go-to knife when you just want to fidget? It depends. I mean, I fidget with just about everything, but I just want to fidget. I just want to fidget. I don't know. I just grab whatever's next to me, really. I don't have like a specific one. Just whatever's next to me. I have too many knives to really think about that. Like right now, I picked this one just now. And then right after that, I'll pick the Benchmade. So I don't know. I don't really have, a specific one. If you want a reference, though, I would say the Miltaw is a really good one. So try the KIZER Miltaw. KIZER Miltaw. KIZER has a lot of good fidget ones, especially for the price, because you can get them for a great price. Those Tesla electronic motors giving instantaneously high torque. Yep. And again, my go fast options has always been a sport bike. Sound and engine vibrations are key elements to experience the speed. I actually agree with that. I honestly, because I grew up, my uncles, my cousins, my dad, they all had hot rods, in like in classic cars, so Chevelles, GTOs, things like that, Impalas, Malibus, Novas. I had an El Camino. I was driving a Grand National for a while, and I've driven like a ton of other stuff. But so since I was kind of raised around that stuff, the sound of the motor, the engine, the smell of the fuel, the carburetor power, like I love it. Fucking love that shit. That's like my style. I love that. Yeah. Hey, mother. So how are you doing tonight? Hope you're having a nice evening. I hope you are having a nice evening, mother. Thank you for jumping in and saying hi. Jared, you know your favorite fidget is the Leverletto. Oh, that is funny because it's right here. I was thinking about this the other day because I know this one's a knockoff, but I was thinking like, man, I wonder if I should try to redo this because I do like the way this action works, even though it's not very modern. Because look, I have to push this like this and then kick this down and then release, because if I have tension on the bar, it won't release. Now, you know, there's no tension, and then click it back in. But listen to this. This thing has some power, man. I like it. That wouldn't be a bad one to remake. My uncle has a 61 Impala. My first car was 66 Rambler. We had Ramblers. My dad had a Rambler. I drove it like a 64 Impala. That's funny. Yeah, my uncles, we had a car show every year, you know, and a lot of them won first and second place and things like that. So like we would go there every year, you know, and like I'd watch my uncles, my cousins, and even me driving around, you know, a car show basically where they basically shut down the strip, and you know it's just for the car show, and you can drive up and down, you know, for yeah. Anyways, so since I did that my whole life every year, I haven't been to it in like 2 or 3 years. I should probably try to go this year. I miss it. Maybe I will, but yeah, always a good time, man. That the sound of the engine, you know. My dad used to have a Chevy Nova that he could literally pop wheelies in. He could get the wheels off the ground in second gear, and he would scare the shit out of us as kids. Because he would fucking hammer down on it, you know, and that thing would like start lifting up and put you in the back seat. Jared is from Chicago. His favorite car wasn't Porsche. Cub fans would beat him up on sight. But he was an average baby boy and everything. My first car was a 78 Ford F-150 bought from my boss for $2,000. Can't even fathom that today. My mom says, but he was the average boy, got into everything, every animal you could think of. Always had to check his pockets before coming in. 60, where'd it go? 68 Nova. My dad had a 60. Was it a 68? No, 69. He had a 69 Nova. I had a 69 El Camino. Was my first. My dad was winning car shows in the 72 Charger for 20 years. Yeah, that's a beautiful car, man. That's actually one of my favorites. I love the 70s Plymouths, you know. I love the Plymouths. I like a lot of cars, but like that style, like that body shape, that body style, I fucking love it. Obviously the Chevys too, you know, and basically all of them, man. They're all beautiful cars, man. You really can't even deny it. It's like there's really no ugly cars in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, I love Novas too. That's hilarious. Nova was such a fun car. My mom had one at one point. My dad's was a 454. That's what he had in it. And I'm sure he put weight in the trunk, you know, to pop the wheelies up a little bit higher. But hey, it would do it. Does it have to have multiple deployment methods to qualify as fidgety? No, it doesn't. It just has to have a good stout detent, good solid detent, some sort of. I see. Everybody's gonna have different opinions, right? Like if you don't like front flippers, then you're definitely not gonna want to fidget with one. So you just have whatever your preference is. It doesn't matter. It can be one single deployment. Some people like multiple deployments because they can do multiple deployments, right? Like a lot of people, like even just like this one, right? It's a flipper and a reverse flick. So that's fun. This is the first step for most people, the flipper and the thumb hole or reverse flick hole. Then after that, then you move on to the front flipper. I think I had a couple other things written down. Oh, check this out. Somebody sent me this skin, but I don't have a and if one of you guys have it, actually let me look up exactly what it is. So I need a Microtech to borrow for a few days. I have to tell you guys which one it is later. I can't think of it right now. But there's this guy who makes, what the hell? There's this guy who makes skins for Microtechs. And it's called Blade Grips. And they come in all different colors, and you put them on, and it just makes it where it's a little bit grippier in the hand. And it makes it look cool, makes it kind of yours. And then you can toss it around a little bit harder because this is rubber. So you're going to be able to, not scratch it. And it's basically a protection for your OTF and, grip. So I think it's pretty cool. The only problem is I don't have an OTF that it fits. I figured it would like fit a different one, but he sent it to me. An Ultratech. It might be an Ultratech. I can't remember now, but I was hoping they would fit one of mine, and I might be able to find one. I got to pull a couple more out, but so far none of the ones I put on it will fit. He told me which one it fits. I just can't think of it. Knife condom. Exactly. It's a knife condom. To rubber for a knife. Crown Vicks. KUBEY Mizo recently sent to me by a friend has turned out to be a great fidget knife. Yes, that is a good fidget knife. I'm glad you're liking it. Anybody get the EMP OTF? I definitely did. Wouldn't a knife condom just be a sheath? Good point, but hey, sometimes you got to protect the lower part of it, which would be the handle. I read that one. Let's see here. What else did I have? I did want to talk about that. I can't talk about that yet. Oh, check this out. I got this pen from Chavez. This has got to be my favorite pen right now. So before this one, it was, you guys just got a free bell. It was this guy, Soul Built, USA made, titanium. Love it a lot. Work hard, stay tough. Wait, where'd it go? Work hard, stay tough. It's nice and fidgety. It works as a marker or a pen. You can change the refills very quickly and drop a marker in there. So like say if you'd work construction or work whatever in a factory or something and you're using a marker all day, you can use it for that, or you can use it for a pen, and it doesn't dry out the marker. Now, and I still use that one, so I still love that one. Love it a lot. Soul Built. Spelled just like how it sounds. Look them up. Great guys. It's a black-owned company. They're also making knives, and they have some really cool chef knives coming out. I'm hoping I get those on the channel. They do some like with skulls at the end, like inside the epoxy. It looks pretty cool. Anyways, this one is a Chavez pen, and it is, these holes are all the way through. There's actually a barrel in here, so if I unscrew this would come out like a tube like that, and you see the holes are see-through now. Anyways, so the pen itself, this pen is one of the best writing pens I've had in a long time. And that's what I love about pens. So my big thing with pens is, how do they write? So like ever since I was like a kid, I always had like a pen fetish with pens writing well, and I wasn't really good in school or anything. So, it wasn't because of that. It was just something about pens that wrote well I loved. And this is one of those. This is one of those ones that it writes so smooth and so good, so crisp and so clean. Perfect thickness, great grip, titanium. The skull clip actually works well. This works better than his knife clip. Seriously, I'm not joking. I thought when I seen it, I was like, oh man, I hope this isn't as tight as his knife clip. Nope, perfect. So awesome pen. Definitely check those out. I don't even know where to find them. Probably on his site, Chavez Knives. I'm not sure if they have them on Blade HQ. Let me look. Because I don't even know the price. I have no idea the price. I'm sitting there telling you about it. Watch, it's a fucking $400 pen. Oh, they do have one. Oh, they do, but $125. They got one, a different one, not the same one. They have different styles. I'll just show you guys. Let me just show you guys what I'm looking at. They have different styles. So There you go. You can see what they got there. They have bolt action and I don't know what you'd call the top pusher, push button. But the price isn't too bad. 125, 135. I mean, I kind actually, you know what? That is a little high. Because let me see where it's made. Made in China. Yeah, it's high. It's tough. And I say it's tough because what's tactile? Tactile's $100, right? $100 for a titanium pen from the USA. Am I right about that? Somebody tell me. I can't remember. I have one and I did buy it. I just can't remember what I paid for it. $270 wheel horsepower, 300 torque from 3,500 RPM Fiesta. It's great daily around town, and I can go around picking up Gen Z, picking up Gen Z girls at will with the turbo flutter. Definitely had some issues though. Dropped a couple valve seats and had to replace both heads. Those old cars like that though, you're always gonna be working on 'em, no matter what. That's the deal you sign when you get one. That is the dang old deal. Hey, go fuck yourself, hellhound. I just use zebra pens, the black brass ones. They're cheap but great. Hey, use what you got to use, man. I ain't got a problem with that. I got tons of pens. I got pens all over the place. But I like them. But I do a lot of writing. I probably go through a notebook every 2 weeks. So I buy big packs of notebooks. And right now, I literally just ran out. I'm literally on my last couple pages. I got to order another pack. I go through notebooks like crazy because I write ideas, I write notes. Sometimes I write video ideas and the way I want to break a video down. And 90% of the time, I don't use any of it. So I wind up redoing it or possibly scrapping it. So, like, there's just tons of that, like I have books right now that I could go through that I probably don't even remember. I never did the video. So it's like just ideas and stuff like that. I'm like Vin Diesel out here on these streets, showing them my daily carry recommended by Neeves at the Mountain Outlooks. That is funny as hell. When are they going to drop more Max Ace Neptunes? I don't know, but I do have a couple coming right now. Not Neptunes, but some other Max Aces, some of their new stuff. Jared uses brass knuckles. I got some nice wooden knuckles. They're not brass, but they're wooden. I've had plenty of brass knuckles. I've been hit by brass knuckles. I don't know, Mark. I find myself using graph. What time is it? Shit, we are so late. I was supposed to do fragrance of the day. So I'm supposed to recommend a good blue fragrance. So good blue fragrance. Well, the first one I'm going to recommend is Versace Dylan Blue. Versace Dylan Blue, in my opinion, is like the best of all time blue fragrance. But I'm going to give you another one just in case if you already know about that one. So another great one would be... First, let's talk about this and I'll think about it. So, because this is a freshie, so this is super masculine, super fresh. It is a pineapple fragrance, but don't think pineapple. Like, don't think like candy or anything like that. This is like manly pineapple. Like it smells like the plant. It's very earthy and fresh and citrusy and super masculine. Very good. This is one of Kara's favorite fragrances. It smells like it kind of smells like a man fresh out of the shower, fresh from the barber shop. Like, I know that's a weird mixture, what I just said, but I'm sure you guys can grasp that. It has a little bit of the barber shoppy smell, but also a nice, fresh, clean, masculine man scent. It's very fucking good, and it's Club Do You Need Intense Man. I know there's somebody in this chat that can back me up on this one and say that it is absolute fire. Fire. This is basically a I'm not gonna say clone, but you could say clone. It's basically it's the same as I can't think now. Creed Aventus. It's the same as Creed Aventus. It is very good, but this is the thing. Creed Aventus is like $400. This like $30, maybe $40. This is very affordable. It might be a little bit more than that. I don't know, but it's very affordable. Even if it's $80, this is a big ass bottle, and the juice is worth the squeeze. It's a really good juice in here. It lasts. It lasts 8 hours. Like I said, Kara, when I sprayed this, I actually got something that was very similar to it the other day. And anyway, so she has smelt a lot of my fragrances. But when I spray this and I have her smell it, she always is like, that's my favorite one ever. That's the shit she said. And sometimes I'm like, no, it's not. Like, don't say that, because I have other fragrances I like way more than this one. But hey, I you know, it's her nose, right? But really good. Like I said, very masculine, very good, very appealing, mass appealing in the sense of manly, right? It's not sweet. It's when you read the things on it, it says it has sweet notes, but it's saying sweet in a way you guys are not going to comprehend. It's not sweet like candy sweet or anything like that. It's a different type of sweetness. Um, yeah, it's damn good though, man. Very good. Like I said, very masculine. Check it out. Club Duny Intense Man. I highly recommend it. Get a sample. Try it out. Now, another blue fragrance. You ready? Sauvage Parfum. Sauvage Parfum. Bang. That's a good blue fragrance. Sauvage. You can try that one, or if you want a blue fragrance, go with Sauvage Parfum. Can't go wrong with that one either. Very good. It lasts a long time. It's not loud, but it spreads, so you can smell it. Like, it's something you don't want to put on heavy. You don't need to. You just need one or two sprays. Two sprays, you're good, but it'll last most of the day, if not all day, and you'll be very happy with the scent. It is. I did put it this way. I had Kara sample. This was a long time ago, before I had like this one and stuff. I think I had about 25 fragrances, put them all in order, and I had her narrowing down. Like, I had her take two and pick which one she liked the most, take two, pick which one she liked the most. And I got down to the last one, which wound up winning it, which was Sauvage Parfum. So that says a lot. Is Sauvage better than the one you just showed? They're different. That's the thing. They're nothing alike. So Sauvage would be a blue fragrance. So it's more shower jelly. So it's more like fresh, manly smell out of the shower. This one has barbershop in it, you know, but still very, you know, fresh, masculine. They're both super masculine. Let's just put it that way. They're both manly smells, but they're both very different. One has a muskiness to it. This one has a muskiness to it too, but it's a different type of musky. It's like a blue musky. It has some earthy notes, some woodsy notes, a little bit of spice, just a hint of spice, which this does not have. A hint of some freshness. And like I said, the blue is, you know, like it's just a fresh shower jelly smell. So it has all of that mixed into one. It has a lot of depth. So it's a fragrance that you can wear all year round. You can wear it in the summer, you can wear it in the winter. It's a great fragrance. It kind of would fit in the same category as Versace Dylan Blue, but they do not smell anything alike. So they're nothing alike, but they both fit in the same category. Put it that way. And then this one would sit in a different category. I'll go with the pineapple one. Yeah, check it out, dude. You can't go wrong with it. I love it. And to be honest, this is way more affordable. Club Duny Intense Man. But hey, use my Amazon link. See if you can get it from there. The Neevesknives store, if you can. I mean, if you don't find it for, let me see what they got it for. I'll tell you if it's a good price or not right now. Club. Ooh, pops right up when I go to type it. So they got it. Yeah, they got it for 35 fucking bucks. Yeah, use my I'm just gonna grab it and give it to you. $35. I bet I paid double that for mine. All right, so here, I'm just gonna drop it in the chat, and I'm also gonna put it in the description. So it's at the top. I'll just put intense, man. All right. So you guys can find it there in the description or right here in the chat. Based on your extensive experience, so how many what do you use with? I don't know what that means. Can you spell that for me, Pet? Okay, based on your extensive experience, which in your opinion is the best brand for tank overbuilt hard use survival / self-defense knife with dependable locking mechanisms? Cold Steel. Cold Steel is going to be the only one if you're talking about with dependable, long-lasting, hard use, fucking tank-like, vault-like lockup. It's going to be, yeah, Cold Steel. Because with other companies that I can tell you, there's going to be a secondary lock. You're going to have to screw something in. You're going to have to do something. With the Cold Steel, you just open it. So I'm going to have to say Cold Steel. Nothing beats a Cold Steel. Spanky's been a member for 24 months. Shout out to Spanky. Been supporting for a long damn time. Have you ever tried Brickle Eminent? I don't think so. I got a link for a travel size? Travel size? No. So the link should let you pick different sizes. There's all different sizes that I can see. Let me grab a different link. I'll grab a different one. Because there's different ones. Okay, so here. This one's $62. So it's going to be a little bit more. A lot more. But this is 6.8 ounces. Let me see what this one is. If it's the same as this, it'll be worth it. Oh, what the hell? I don't see the thing. This feels like I don't even know. It feels like it's not quite 100 ml. It feels like a 50 ml or something. I don't know what the 6.8 ounces would be. So I'll just put a couple different links. You can, you know, let me just look really quick because there might be another one. There's so many of them. Because different companies are just slanging them. This one's Amazon's Choice. Let me see. 3.6 ounces. That's a good bottle. $35. 3.6 ounces is a good bottle. So here, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Bang. It's in there. Now I'm going to put it in here just in case. There. Should be done. What was that? 6.8 is what? 3.4 is 100 mil. Okay. There you go. Thank you. I thought, you know, because I'm thinking of my other 100 mLs that I know are 100 mLs, and they feel like they're bigger than this, but they're just taller probably. So yeah, this could be 100 ml. This is a hefty bottle though, nice and thick. The glass, so it's deceptive. You don't know exactly how much. You know what I mean? Like when you have thick glass, the inside might not be carrying as much fluid as you think. So sometimes it's very misleading. Jones with the 2 bones. Jay, don't forget about Mercedes the Move. That is a fire blue fragrance. That's a sweet freshie. Mercedes the Move. That is it's one of my favorite blue fragrances for sure. Very long lasting, very fresh, very good. Worked the other day, got a bunch of compliments. Multiple compliments. Yes, I did. Yeah, that stuff's really good because it's affordable. It's more summer than anything, though. So that's going to be more of a summer fragrance. Your first car was a Datsun station wagon. Broke down the first time I drove. You want to hear what my first car was? My first car was a Dodge Intrepid that eventually had no reverse after like a week. So I drove this thing around for like 6 months with no reverse. Literally everywhere I went. I used to have to plan, like when I would drive, I would look at the conditions and see if I could pull in there, because if I couldn't back up. So I had to make sure that there was a little bit of an angle so that I could just let it float back, or I could push it back with my leg, you know, start kicking and kicking. So, and then my second car had no reverse. I went through 2 cars in a row with no reverse. Fucking bullshit, man. I'll tell you what, when I finally got a car with reverse, it was such a blessing. Such a blessing to be able to pull into a parking spot and not have the fear of having to push my car out. And I had those for a while. I love Code 4. It's a good size. Yeah, the Code 4 is great. I love that knife. I wish they would come out with a G10 version or like a micarta version or a G10 version. I wish they would do a G10 version because the aluminum is great. I love the aluminum, but it's just a little bit too slippery. I guess you could always put skateboard tape on it. My dad's first car was a Buick Wildcat. He said the thing was like driving a boat. I've had a couple boats. I've definitely had some boats. All right, guys. I guess we're at the end of the show. Use gun tape. Oh shit! Why is it covering it up? And they had grip panels. Yeah, that's what I would do. I don't own one, but I've definitely had them in, and I've had them in my shopping cart like 1,000 times because I love it. I do love it. I've had them in. I've reviewed them. I love the blade shape, especially the spear point. So the spear point's my favorite. So yeah. You know what's crazy though is I also love their Tonto. I think Cold Steel does some of the best Tontos because they do a great Americanized Tonto. My favorite is really a drop point Tonto, but Cold Steel does a good Americanized Tonto. Club Do You Need is a compliment magnet for sure. I even get compliments wearing it, and I'm 350-pound bearded fellow. Bang. Bang. No, it's a good one for sure. I wouldn't stir you wrong because I definitely think about whether or not a lot of people will like things. If I don't know if a lot of people like it, I'll tell you, get a sample. Like everything, you should kind of just get a sample because everybody's nose and skin is going to be a little bit different. But there's just going to be some that are more mass appealing than others. And I usually try to recommend mass appealing fragrances that most people like. Then the ones that are not like that, the ones that are a little bit more controversial, I'll just tell you, get a sample because you have the chance that you are going to fricking love it. And the people you're around are going to fricking love it. But you might also smell it and be like, yeah, I can't wear that. So at that point, I'll just say that. I sprayed, I got this backpack and I was around some smoke. So it kind of smelled a little smoky. So I took my, my red tobacco, my Mancera red tobacco, fucking nuclear. And I gave it one spray across the front of it. Just, and every time I walk past it, I can smell it. Literally just walking past. That's how nuclear that shit is. And it's been all day. And every time I walk past it, I smell it. I get a whiff. And it makes me want to go and grab the bottle and just spray myself every time. I probably shouldn't have put that fragrance on there, to be honest. It's just since, you know, it was already smelling like tobacco, I figured I might as well just, you know, put a tobacco frag on there. One spray on my wrist, dab to the other, one spray on the back of my neck, and one on my chest, one on the shirt. The 8010 and 4 Max are so damn excellent, smooth, durable, incredible ergos. If you need to beat the hell out of a folder, that's what I would go for. Yeah, the 8010, you can get the 8010 now if you can get the light and the regular one with the titanium scales or aluminum scales from Original Goat, which turns this motherfucker into, ooh. I mean, it's already super tough, so you don't have to get the scales. The scales obviously will make it tougher and make it feel a lot tougher for sure. But you don't have to get them. But if you really like this knife and you want to make it feel just absolutely indestructible, it already feels like that. So adding these scales, just listen to that. Like, it almost seems like, I think the lock sounds better. It's crazy how much changes with scales, man. The acoustics, everything. Red tobacco smells great, but one too many sprays will choke out. Yeah. That's why I said it's nuclear. You gotta be careful with that one. That one will get you. Your go-to gas station knife fight. My go-to gas station knife fight. You're saying which gas station would I go to for a knife fight, or which knife I'd go to for a gas station knife fight? I mean, to be honest, I'd probably want something with a little bit of length if I'm really going to get into it. But I think of it more practically. And to be honest, like I've seen a lot of altercations at gas stations. I've been in a lot of altercations at gas stations. I've been in probably a dozen fights at gas stations. I've seen people shot at gas stations. I've had guns pulled out on me at gas stations. I've had everything you can imagine happen to me at a gas station. it's just a hot spot, you know, too many people passing each other, and you know, you might run into somebody you got beef with or whatever. But I think the best type of knife for anything like that is going to be one to get somebody off of you, um, more than being on the attack. Not saying there's not going to be good ones for on the attack. I just think it's kind of different. Um, and like I said, there's probably a lot of examples where that would work out better for you to have a knife that gives you distance so you can keep them at bay or whatever, or you know, you can plunge it into them. But I think being able, like, you know, the FLN, being able to get something out it when you're being grabbed, when you're being tackled, when you're being hit, because things happen that fast. Like, you could be walking into a place and somebody hit you in the back of the head, you know, or two people, right? Bum rushing you and tacking you to the ground and start kicking the shit out of you. In many cases, like, that's how it's going to go down, not the way you want. It's not going to be a planned thing. Like, the guy's going to walk up and say, let's go. It's not going to be like that. You're going to get sneak attacked, or, you know, if there is an altercation that leads up to something. Like one time I seen a guy did an altercation, right? And started, like, they were like arguing and shit like that. Dude pulled out, right? So the guy that he was fighting with thought he left. That fucker went around the block. Literally just went around the block, parked on the side, then came running around the back of the thing. I'm guessing he didn't want to be seen on the camera or something. Came running back and just fucking went right after dude from behind, because dude didn't know he was coming. So, you know, you never know, man. You never know. So it's like, I think being able to fight in those situations is what's best. Obviously, if you know it's coming, okay, you can fight that, right? Because you know it's coming. It's right in front of you. You can square up with it. But fighting the thing that's coming from the side, fighting the thing that's coming from the back, fighting the thing that's already got you on the ground is another story. Fighting the thing that's got you pressed in your car, fighting the thing that's got you pushed into a corner, all those things are where it's going to count the most, because it's going to be a lot harder to get to it. It's going to be a lot more nerve-wracking. You're going to be blinded. You're going to be foggy. Your adrenaline's going to be through the roof. You're going to have the biggest adrenaline rush ever, and dump, both at the same damn time. So, yeah. You're going to need a Thompson 45. I actually shot one of those one time, fully auto too. Probably shouldn't have said that. Glocks do the same thing that matters most. They always go bang when you pull the trigger. Yeah, that's most guns, but well, depends, because, you know, if you get pushed out of battery, they don't go bang. Which that happens, you know, fucking when you're in a fight and you're trying to shoot somebody and the front of that gun gets pushed, knocks it out of battery and makes it, you know, impossible to shoot. But regardless, a lot of times, like, this is the problem with that. And I've actually seen this too, where a guy had a gun, got jumped, and they took the gun from him, because as he's trying to get it out, he was getting jumped. So what do you think's more likely? That two guys are going to be able to manhandle you and take the gun from you as you try to pull it out, or you're going to be able to fight off two people that you didn't know were coming and John Wick them? You know what I mean? Like, it does depend on, that's why a spatial, you know, your situational awareness is what's so important. But you can't, it's hard to be prepared. Like, I guarantee right now, if I had a camera on half you motherfuckers, half you guys probably pull up in your driveway and sit there and look at your phone as you pull in. Half of you guys probably get out of your car and haven't even looked behind you. Half of you probably walk up to your door without any thought process of who's around the corner. So that's the majority of humans, right? I'm not saying I do the same thing. I'm just saying, like, that's reality, though, of how it would really go down. It's going to go down when you least expect it. It's going to be intentionally when you least expect it. And if it is when you expect it, thank God that it happened when you expected it. But that's unlikely. That's all I'm saying. And like, I'm not saying there's not a time when you can get into a fight with somebody and square up and it can get dirty. I'm not saying that that's not that can happen. It's very likely to happen. But in the situation where you're going to be pulling out something to end somebody, you know, that's a different story. Like, you know, usually squaring up in a fist fight is not, I mean, maybe you could use the excuse to put them down, but you know, I don't know how the courts are going to look at that. But Don't get caught lacking. That's for damn sure. All right, guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the love and support today. Like I said, we do have the gunny juice on the site. Don't forget, get yourself some damn gunny juice. We're gonna restock it. So if you see one of your microns, you can get the small ones too. These aren't that much money. These like 40 pumps or something like that. You only need like 3 for a big strop. So and that'll last you a little while. You only have to put it on every so often. But anyways, but the sprays, the big bottle of sprays is where it's at. The 30 mLs. These things last a long time. Anyways, so check those out if you guys want to get some stropping compounds. USA Apparel's coming very soon. We got some really cool videos coming out tomorrow. I got the FLN video coming out in the next couple days. And I got some other really cool videos that I'm working on right now that I'm pretty excited about. We'll see how they turn out. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.